Today is a play with makeup type of day. I am having a lot of fun with these pigments from LeLePosh Cosmetics. Look how pretty and vibrant. This palette is so pigmented. It's full of bright, fun, unique colors, so you know that's right up my alley. If you'd like to see the look that I created today, then just keep on watching. So I've already primed my eyes using my Wet n Wild primer. They are very, very pigmented shadows. And I think that's what Nina from LeLePosh prides herself on, is her pigmentation. She loves highlighter, like a lot, and she loves a blinding highlight. And she likes cosmetics that have intensity to them. So true to her loves, these are very, very pigmented. Some of these are even pressed pigments. 4 of them are, and they are, I believe, pressed pigments with no mixers in them at all. I'm taking my Up and Up brush and going to Vesti. I'm going to do something of a cut crease. And with these shadows in particular, I think you want to pat the shades in and use a tacky base. Honestly, I should use LeLePosh primer. Maybe I'll grab that because it works really well together. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I tend to really like to use products from the same brand in the same look. It just satisfies my sense of order. So this is Amplify. It's a balm that you can use in multiple ways. So a multi-purpose balm that you can use as a base. When you do use it as a base, it creates a more intense pigmented look on top. It has some shimmer throughout, and it has a sweet scent to it. I'm hoping she'll come out with a version that has no shimmer, but if you are using matte shades on top of this, it generally doesn't really peek through unless what you're using is quite sheer. So it's not usually a problem. It's just that I do like to cover this up because the type of shimmer it is a bit chunky, but it's a very nice base. It tends to make the shadow stick as well as look nice and creamier, less dry. So I'm going to go back in and tap right on top of that Amplify base, pushing it into the socket, the deepest part of the eye area, and following the natural shape of my eye. So these shades are vegan, cruelty-free, hand-pressed. I'm going to go into my favorite, this lovely teal. I had to repress this because it kind of came apart. It's one of those dry pressed pigments. I don't know if you guys saw the first look I did with this palette that I posted on Instagram, but I mixed these shades with my Esom Pro mixing medium, and that gave it nice fluidity. I'm testing this out for the first time without that medium. I'm going to try and do this whole look without that medium today, just to stretch its versatility, etc. I kind of felt like in my pictures, my look turned out to be more red-green instead of orange, blue-green, like how it looked to me in person. So I was kind of annoyed with how the photographs were turning out, but that's okay. So you can probably see, especially on this eye, what I mean about pressing the pigments in. If you don't press the pigments in, it tends to go a little bit patchy if you're just trying to use a buffing motion. If you guys are interested in seeing how I like to blend, I do have a whole video on that, and like I mentioned in that video, pressing shadows in is key to creating a flawless blend. So this is no different. These are just drier, more focused on pigmentation than a lot of shadows on the market, which are more focused on buildability. You kind of have to make sure you're pressing the shades in to get an even application. I'm taking this Isom W35 brush, and it's clean, and I'm sweeping over the top edge. I think I'm going to go ahead and jump into the bright yellow Minion and feather that right on top. I'm literally shearing the products out, but we're going to build up intensity, don't worry. This is actually me working pretty hard to keep it sheer because these shadows are intensely pigmented. And to keep it sheer, I'm tapping just the tiniest bit of pressure into the pan so I don't pick up as much. I'm going to tap into Spotlight, the lightest shade. It's a white with shimmer. Going back into that first Vesti. So I'm simultaneously trying to maintain a blended effect as well as amp up intensity. We switch back and forth between yellow and green. Now going back into laser, I think it's called. I'm going to take my Isom T09 and go into the black. I'm going to draw this right across the crease, making sure to keep my eyes open so that it's visible. So basically putting it a little bit above the crease and just sketching out where I want that deepest color to be. I'm going to pick some of Hella Hoop, which is another one of those pressed pigments, but in cobalt. I'm going to press that right on top of the black, mixing the two together to give it more depth of color and less of a grayed out effect. And then with my Up and Up, I'm going to just blend all of that into our base look. Going to apply some of this Amplify base right onto the area we cleaned up. And now I'm going to go into Encore, which has a beautiful old gold feel to it. It glows really brightly. Burgundy and green flash to it. take some of that black, this into the outer third of the lash line, and lift it, connecting it with that top portion of the crease work. To amp up the intensity, I'm giving my finger a little spritz with the Scandinavia finishing spray. I'm picking up more pigment and I'm just going to pat that on to give a really foiled, intense look in the center there. Then I'm going to take my brush. Oh, I've been using the Morphe M170-2. It's just a small, precise brush. And going over the edges. We put some of the same shade in the center of the inner corner. Now for the lower lash line, I'm going to take that same little brush, the Isom T09, that still has some residual matte black on it. I'm going to scrub this on the outer edge of the lash line on the bottom. And I'm actually going to take a little bit of the green Vesti and blend that over the center and the outer edge. Okay, and then with my Marc Jacobs Sunset eyeliner, I'm going to put that on the lower lash line, and then I'm going to put black liner right on the top, on the upper waterline. I'm going to make sure to put some accent lashes on the outer edge to give a bit of flare, because I'm not doing a wing, so I want to make sure that outer edge has a decent amount of bulk to it. I put a little bit of color in the brows, and I am adding some coverage on the skin. I'm using my Dior Forever Skin Glow. I've tried this with a brush, a sponge, but I've never tried it with my fingers, so that's what I'm trying today. That really works it into the skin nicely. I'm going to blend the inner corner a little bit. I tried doing a sharp inner corner, I didn't like it. I'm going to go for some concealer underneath the eyes using my Soft Matte Complete Concealer from NARS. And deal with some of my discoloration. Now with this larger Wet n Wild brush, I'm going to go into Standing Ovation. I'm going to do some sort of contouring with this. It's one of the more neutral shades in the palette, because it has a red brown with a duochrome of purple. Dust this in sort of a V shape down my neck. I'm going to use the same kind of brush, but a clean one, and go into Spotlight. I'm going to use this to highlight, basically filling in all the sections that I didn't use the other shade to contour. going to take a bit of Hella Hoop with the brush I use for contouring. I'm just feathering this lightly along the edges. I'm going to take a bit of Clown Tears, the shimmery blue, and layer that on. With my Sonia G Worker 1, I take some of that same combination and just do a much more vibrant version, creating a lower cut crease, kind of. Just always framing the eye. On my Wet n Wild brush, with a little bit of Legendary, I'm going to dust this on the apples of the cheeks. I'm going to put a little bit of this Amplify on my lips.
Hi.
Oh, he likes Amplify. Ooh. Let's go into Dangerous. I actually want a little bit more highlighter, so I'm pulling out Shmoney, the LeLePosh highlighter that I have. I'm going to go in with this. It has a greenish tint, so it makes for a nice tie-in with the eyes. Pull that in on the outer temple. Okay, and that is it. I am loving the bright eyes with hints of other colors coming through. I hope that you enjoyed. If you have any special requests, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. I love you guys lots, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye guys.